First and foremost, I want to congratulate you all and thank you for agreeing to be a part of this show. It's a hell of a commitment to make to be a part of a show. You're going to be giving up the next 2 to 2.5 months of your life focused solely on this. You're going to be here a lot, you're going to be doing a lot of work, and I appreciate the fact that you're willing to do that without any sort of financial payback or anything like that. It says a lot about all of you.
Nobody told me that.
Well, you know, I figured once Ken heard that he'd leave.
There's not a bigger musical out there, and it is one of those epic pieces of theater that connects people across generations. It's, well, let's see, first produced in 1985, and it has been amongst the top 5 most popular musicals in the world ever since it was produced. And this is, this of course is the first time that it's been able to be produced at the community theater level. I believe it will be the 3rd community theater in the country to produce it. So, when you're looking for a big event sort of show to open a new building or a new theater and start something new, it doesn't get any better than Les Mis, and we were fortunate enough to be offered the rights. So.
Master of the house, quick to catch your eye, never wants a passerby to pass him by. Servant to the poor, butler to the great, comforter, philosopher, and lifelong mate. Everybody's boon companion.
It's a lovely group of people. I mean, casting is always a difficult process to go through, especially when you do have a show like this that, is so many people's dream show. And it's one that I've always wanted to do this. It's the kind of show that actually has brought people into theater and made them theater fans just by experiencing that show. And we had 187 people audition for the show, which is a good number. And ultimately, we ended up casting a total of 40. So obviously there was about 147 really, truly disappointed people, and that's always the downside to the job of casting a show. But on the other side, you do have 40 people that are incredibly grateful and excited to be a part of the production, regardless of what level it's at. And you get a commitment from people on a show like this that I think this is not a show that you audition for on a whim. I mean, this is the kind of show that you audition for because you're desperate to be a part of it, and so you end up with a group of people that is immensely committed and happy to be here, and that's always fun. Anytime you have a cast that looks forward to coming to rehearsal, good things happen.
Look down and show some mercy if you can. Look down upon your fellow man.
Of course, I've got a musical director with immensely more experience than I have, and is just brilliant in her own right. Diane Faust is music directing, which I'm very excited about.
Even the darkest night will end and the sun will rise.
When you have somebody who's that competent sitting at the table with you, that can ask the right questions and brings her own experience to the table, that's immensely helpful. But it's also a bit of a safety net. It allows me to take a few more risks because you do have that other voice sitting there who's got the experience to say, okay, that's too far, or that's not going to work because of this, that, or the other. But then also somebody who's got the ability to bring out of people, a sound and a voice that they weren't even aware that they themselves were able to bring out. And already we're seeing the results of that. We've got Jen Wilkinson is choreographing for me, and I think this is our, I'll count here, I think our 5th or 6th show together, working as director and choreographer. And we've got a very nice shorthand. We work very well together. We play very well off of one another. We have, of course, Dylan on set and lights. We've got Mandy on costumes. Dana Erickson is our sound designer. Of course, he's a professional sound guy. It's what he does for a living. And so to bring his immense skills and experience to the table dealing with musicians and concerts and all these other kind of things has been invaluable, but it also takes a huge weight off of both Dylan and Tim, who's assistant set and lights on the show, for them to focus on the set and lights and not have to worry about the sound design. Because the sound design is immensely important for this show, because for the first time ever we're going to be balancing a full orchestra in a pit with a cast on stage. And we have a conductor and a full orchestra already set up. Alex Vaver is our conductor, and he's already done a wonderful job. He had so many musicians that wanted to be a part of this thing that we're actually doubling up virtually every part in the orchestra, and they'll be rotating out. We've got two assistant musical directors on the show who are assisting with playing piano during rehearsals and will be playing in the pit, and that's Dustin Bagstad, who has music directed several shows with me before, and also is just fabulous to work with, and people love him to death. And Sarah Lightson, who's done one of the show for me. She's relatively new in town, but she was involved in both Blood Brothers and Pirates. She's just a great person to have on board, working individually with singers and playing the piano and stuff like that. So there's a great music team on board for the show. But I think the key person on the entire team that makes the entire thing work is of course our stage manager, Kyle DeLapp, who's been working on this show since before I actually announced it to the public. He was one of the few people that I talked about, because I know this was like for so many other people a dream show for him. So he has done an unbelievable amount of work. He's developed an entire website for the cast and crew. He's putting all our materials on there. He's organizing a production team of nearly 20 people, getting him to meetings, getting communication. He's training a stage manager at the same time. He has an assistant stage manager, Sonny Tengblad, on the show. So not only is he doing all that other work, he himself is training a stage manager to do his job on other shows and being a part of things. He's organizing a backstage crew of at least 20 people. So it's a massive undertaking. If you really want to do the math of people involved, we have 40 cast members. We'll have at least 30 musicians. We will have hopefully a backstage crew of 20 between set, costumes, and the fly rail. So already you're up to like 90 people right there alone, and that's not including the production team who's involved. So just on the people directly involved with production, you're already looking at 100 people, and that isn't even talking about all the people that come in and help sew costumes in the shop, or come in and help Dylan and Tim in the scene shop. You're dealing with an unbelievable number of people working on this show to make it happen. So it's a massive undertaking for everyone involved.